Let's see if everything connects as it should. I think so. Okay, it seems like we can. I hope everything works correctly. Wow. Let me just check this here. That on your feedback, or is it definitely like that? But here I also see. I think it's good. The other channels probably also work well. So, just one more confirmation briefly. Now, this sound here. I think we can officially start. And let's start. Although it's not displaying for me in the app right now, I don't know why. Just confirm that the sound is definitely working. Without this, I really wouldn't want to start. What is RTT? This is some kind of status of this. On. This shouldn't be private. I don't see him in here, and just now, and it shouldn't be public. Good. Just like that. It has to be. Maybe I'll see it now. Goodbye for a little while. Okay, now it's visible. Let me just take a look. Something is definitely there. Let me start. I'm very sorry that it took so long, but I'm still getting used to it. To these new settings, so we definitely can start. Well, I'm obviously, you have what you need. I'm the creator of Mintcoin High Tech. Here you have. Here, you have the mint address for this Mintcoin in the upper left corner of the screen. On those live streams, we'll be discussing what happened with that crypto, what I think about it all. And I will, let's say between the lines, explain what Cherry is. Give me what it's all about, my Mintcoin, and maybe it's worth being interested in at all. We can also be interested in starting, and I just want to quickly check if here everything is as it should be, on that which should be at least. Okay, everything is in order. You're just starting live. So, we can really close this off very, very nicely. I had a few attempts here to get this live stream running. I asked to sell it, but ultimately it worked, so I'm happy. And now, the title for today is such. Who knows, maybe we're getting back on track. Hot growing. That's the title of this live stream, where we'll put it. Of course, because it doesn't. The title on all platforms. Why? Because I'm a little too lazy? It's a little too much area. However, here, you see crypto bubbles, meaning same representations of the altcoin market and the crypto market in general, and what's happening there. And as you can see currently, these bubbles that were yesterday, they are the biggest. And Emira is definitely the biggest. The biggest one is actually this coin, this altcoin that I don't trade. Unfortunately, he's probably trying to mess with my nerves, because as a matter of fact, and yesterday he made me a double, meaning plus 100%, which I had shown. And now it's clear that it's gone even higher. It's calmed down a bit. It's gone up further, and so it looks like it's trying to make another double, meaning another 100%. From this place where he already did 100% odd why. So I'm happy when that like my trades are slipping away. Of course I'm joking here. I'm joking. But no, but sometimes something like that happens. You can't really avoid it, and something said yesterday, I sometimes find myself on both sides of the barricade. Sometimes I'm on one side, the side where my coins are being pumped, and I don't pump anything else, and the other side that on the other side, where the rest, as I said, are grey citizens. And my coins also don't do much. Also yes, like I'm saying, that happens to everyone. However, there is definitely more green, like, say, Sunday still. Yay, yesterday was pretty green, then it started to turn a little red, but there was a lot of green. So we're probably still in this phase of the market breaking through, the market wanting something. Let's do something with all of this. I don't want to waste August until the end. I keep arguing that August will turn green. Although it's almost the end of August, I keep insisting. They say it will close in green generally, that it will be a green month, so growth-oriented. And as it is, of course it's coming true, but if we switch to a monthly candle, they displayed the chart of all altcoins tracked. I firmly believe that August is a good month, but I also think it won't be a good month. Naturally, it doesn't have to be accurate in any way, but I also think it will be a good month. Also against, let's say, popular belief in optical statistics, in which September is not doing so well. It seems to me that the global situation will cause, let's say, on financial markets, it will cause it to. However, this September will be exceptional, and either, or it won't be as painful as usual, or it will be a very good month even. It will be a very good September. By the way, as you can see, I'm live streaming a little today. Earlier, like the last few days of the month, or whenever, I just aim for a little earlier times. Only unfortunately it turns out that I'm not really able to. I was able to do it for this purpose, but today I managed it. Even that would be nothing. Earlier, if I didn't have some complications with setting up the live stream, but currently, as you can see, everything is going smoothly. That's why I succeeded. And let's say, about an hour earlier, I even managed it, like yesterday. So, I'm satisfied with this effect. Okay, let's see what we have on the Bitcoin chart, and here this month on Bitcoin. Surprisingly, against what the altcoin chart shows, a summary chart. Red is very mild for this month, because it's only a -3% for this monthly candle. It's definitely nothing, about which one should really dramatize it for comparison. For example, February this year is down 17%, right? Much more painful month, whether it's almost within the bounds. Statistical error, putting it mildly, half joking, half seriously. Basically, the fact that we're down 3 instead of up 3, it's so volatile. Market, regarding the rate, regarding its valuation, with plus minus those 5% on my. I'm not in case of something more than anything. We still had 4 months for the previous month. They were up, they were green, so I wouldn't really complain if Bitcoin would. Nice little red, because again it would be a nice little resetting the indicators, let's say, and definitely much harder. It would be to launch arguments against Bitcoin in the form that we are overheated. The market is overheated, and that because we've been going up for so long some time without interruption, so some deeper correction is needed, right? And such a closing. These monthly candles, meaning for August, on the Bitcoin chart, receive such an argument. To what extent? Because it would be the 5th green monthly candle. Here, we had the most, 6 green. 7 green monthly candles, 7 green monthly candles, 7 green monthly candles. Monthly, and this theoretically would give us a little more leeway against that record. And the record that was broken this year, or established, let's say. Better, let it be a little calmly and weakly at this moment. If it's just like that, then naturally, this market structure, it will be incomparably easier to maintain. Because the indicators will be cooler, and both algorithms will not be so That's how it's panicking like analysts. So, let's see how the liquidation levels are. Today, even on a Wednesday, it's a pretty calm day. And usually the funds are very calm days, of course. How crypto fear and grid index are presenting at 47. Today, it's a little higher than yesterday. It's already risen by 4 points. But we're still below the 510 level, so even though we're at a neutral level, let's say in the lower half. In the lower half, and certainly looking at this indicator, one cannot talking about the market as if it's overheated or somehow heated. And that something tragic should happen here very soon. It'll happen here immediately because of it, as we are still seeing liquidations of nickel derivatives. In the outcome, 81 million was liquidated on Ethereum, from which most of it is long positions. However, surprisingly, most on Bitcoin are shorts. So short positions, while the other 35 million is me. It seems like this confirms that Wednesday is a very calm day, almost weekend-like, isn't it? And this weekend, we probably had higher levels of liquidation than just Wednesday's thought. Wednesday turned into a kind of weekend midweek. Let's see here on this platform how things are going, if anyone is asking any questions naturally. Any questions, please write in the live chat, as you can see, as I'm tracking this on all platforms, both on Rambo, on X, on Twitch, on Kiko, on my English YouTube, and on my Polish YouTube. Everything is under control. Let me check again if the audio is broadcasting on the channels. Let's translate it as it should be broadcast. Let's take a look here. Everything is okay. In order. But it should be okay. At least for now, the business cards. Hello? I see that some kind of glitch happened, but with these glitches it's hard to get around. It's really hard to avoid this, as far as it stands. Meaning as far as it stands, sometimes. In this translation version, I'm looking for different ways to explain this. To figure out how to deal with that, but as I said before, this is version 1. The truth of this software, so it will only improve. It will only get better. Here are some glitches here and there, let's say, occasionally. But I see the script working and it's currently my main priority, that he doesn't crash. It's like a first goal that he doesn't crash. Work. Hunting on Nation. Meanwhile, let's see. Now we're still going to eliminate Bitcoin's dominance, BTCD. Are we dealing with here? On a monthly basis, we also... It's already the second month in a row with a very strong reduction. In total, on a scale of what we had previously, what we had before. Let's say in July, we had a total of minus 5% reduction in the dominance of Bitcoin. Now in August we have another over minus 5%. So this adds a lot of room for speculation. And speculation, that really this much. A monumental decline. Bitcoin's dominance is behind us. We're really already past the peak. We are past the hill, and now it's just downhill. To, as you see, this level of 58 and 60/10. As it is, we're holding below it. We broke through that level on Monday. Whereas Tuesday led us back below. That is, as if. And a little bit of fairness, that's what we want. And today, that was red earlier, somewhere over the span of. As of now, it has been turned into a candle. Going at once. In terms of money, we see that and still, it hasn't been fully closed yet. Daily candle. We still have some time, so maybe it will close red. It would be nice if it actually happened. It would definitely help a little. Fear about Bitcoin dominance, which may contribute to further rotation of capital. Just whitey coins. That's where most of us want. Most of us, let's say. Essentially very good, you know, because altcoins are. Let me look at this again to see how it relates. Okay, good. Now it's okay. Now I'm a little lurking there. But so far, so good. And ain't me? So well, that's good. Traditionally used tea, that is tea. Is he? What do you? Let's see house rate. No, here you can see this, unintelligible. Servolo, of course, is quite close to turn green, but at least, let's say, for us, that even so it's red. Even if it were green, it wouldn't change much in that configuration, but a little. A little bit of optimism, let's say. A little bit counters that, say, with the dominance of Bitcoin on a daily global scale. If the color is green, then we have here a slight opposition to this and that. That's a little supportive, and it also supports the fact that perhaps the Bitcoin dominance inuit to yield, so it won't really try to stand up against it, won't really try to stand up too much. Also, the USDT dominance chart is a supporting factor. Potentially, it could be confirmation for that in which the direction of Bitcoin's dominance is yes, yes. See how the traditional market is presenting itself today, because it's Wednesday, so the market, and it seems like we probably hit an all-time high on the traditional market. Do you hear me right? So it looks like it's going to be like that. I know the opening. It was pretty good today. No. Yes, we clearly made an all-time high. We reached an all-time high on the traditional market. 100 no. So the mood on the traditional market. Things are good. There aren't really any major concerns regarding what's happening in the arena. On the international arena, and let's say, on the geopolitical arena. So it must also proxy the crypto market, you know? Sooner or later, it must also stimulate the crypto market. On crypto bubble, so I expect to see even better results this week than those that now we currently have. What shook us has already shaken us, very much so. Let's say, those who were liquidated on derivative markets. Too much leverage, too much speculation, it's probably already. They went home. They had to get out of the cage and they had to wait for the next one. They'll have to wait until they can play again. And this next one, it's like soon, well, because it's the end of the month. Let's see that. That's it day. I'm quite sure it should really end positively. On S&P as we see, S&P 500, as we see, it would already be the fourth green week in general. Also quite well, the previous series was 5 weeks. And then, only the correction, fifth week was strongest. Regarding growth, so who knows, maybe even now we'll have. That means right now we're drawing the fourth, yes, that one, and then still another. It's quite strong in terms of growth, and who knows, maybe we'll see some correction later. Yes, let's see how Bitcoin looks on weekly charts. Bitcoin on a weekly chart looks like it potentially, well, maybe it's already. And with that starting to unwind because the weekly chart, as you see, has a hammer shape. Hammers, let's say, which are painted green are better hammers, like those which are painted green. This one is painted red. And now, but nonetheless, it's a hammer and always such formations, especially if they are adjacent and turn to green. It's very close, don't disregard this. One shouldn't disregard that. You need to prepare for a potential reversal to occur. And since it's only Wednesday then, there is still an increased probability that this will happen just like that because there are still quite a few days left until the end of the week. So, as it were, I'm painting it quite optimistically regarding the rest of the week. Let's see what Thursday decides, whether it will once again have influence, whether it's a varied week. Let's say Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be strongly emphasized. Previously on Friday of the previous week, Onotny tried to turn the tides of the whole thing. But the power of Thursday was always somewhere there, let's say observing from the shadows. LUSC somewhere from the shadows on all of that, and probably you were also translating it to how last week, because that week looked like a week of weeks, so who knows, maybe this time we'll actually get gifts. Gift on Thursday, and finally green profits. It will outline itself and thus dictate the growth for the rest of the day, which will remain until the end of this week also like that. Let's see if everything is okay at Remba's studio or something. Everything is working as it should be. And here, everything is okay. Good. Sorry for these interruptions, but I need to make sure that everything is working. Until, let's say, the system's young, hasn't been tried out then. That's my job. Okay, let's see what's on X.com. What's going on here on the Elon platform? What news do we have in the space? And by the way, speaking of that, one of the profiles promoting Hitek, that's my meme coin. He's already reached 57 followers despite being created on a connection. At the beginning of this month, he already had 57 followers, as you can see in the description. High-tech is doing promotion. Let's say the ticker of the same coin is somewhere when it has the opportunity to do so, like. I should mention this but not in an overly pushy way, so I've already joked about it repeatedly. That many of you would like to have follower titles like Gyral. And I was saying that even when he had 30 or even 40 followers. Seven, and he's growing his following effectively. My following is of course growing too. I'm nearing 500 followers on X, so of course I have ticker high-tech in my ads. 8 followers is incidentally precisely this live stream that is currently broadcasting, called. And let's see how it. They're also attaching it again on X, on X.com. What are they trying to convey here? I'm constantly seeing that they're very discussions about what's happening. Since they reminded me again about Ethereum, let's take a look. What's going on there generally speaking? Paycheck. The paycheck looks really good. This all looks really good. Interesting. I think this music must look phenomenal. Is that candle that broke the new record from all-time high, which is the highest historical level. So, it's definitely going to be momentous, let's say, memorable candle for all those who have recently been very invested in Ethereum. Yes, despite having predicted it on April 13th, I predicted that as we were really, really low. We basically returned in April to the market level. From 2022, I said then that you would see this cycle. It will still make a new all-time high, and indeed it really did happen despite that, and still. Really betting heavily on Ethereum because I think other cryptocurrencies have a much better chance. A much better chance. Better potential, but let's see how this looks on a slightly smaller interval. We saw weekly, monthly, and intraday intervals. Let's say this bullish market case continues, and it's here it's clearly visible and it looks like Ethereum is going to... It will be on more. I won't be surprised if we see somewhere, let's say, it can. This year Ethereum, as $6,000 wasn't priced. If Ethereum $6,000, that's what it costs. And in the next year, who knows, maybe even $8. I wouldn't expect it, but the cryptocurrency market repeatedly surprises me. It was proving to everyone around that it could handle every at a low bar, so $8,000 is definitely a low bar. If it comes to absurdity, so it can, let's say broken like a dry stick, only time will show, but despite, I tell you all that a much better ratio of wins to losses. It's in coins that have smaller capitalization, which aren't in the top 10, even in the first 58 I say, but as will be, we'll ultimately find out, as soon as once everything is done, we'll know who was right, who wasn't. And here, 36 minutes ago that, and he noted that we have classic recoupment. On the Bitcoin chart, as you can see, he even marked when those reco. And where did it then lead, looking at this historical chart? We're going to win Ethereum. And then what happened? So CryptoGoose probably did too. A big bet on Ethereum having very, very good growth. And in fact he showed what kind of growth that was. At least it was 1354%, 1354%. What? Also over 13x. Cryptos, and say, will we also have growth in this class probably now? Probably, it won't be that good. According to my target, it should have been, let's say, beaten with misery compared to what was. Should be incomparably smaller, as you know, $8,000. Target, let's say, isn't even meeting 100% according to my feeling. From the previous all-time high from the previous cycle, so that's, let's say, according to those. Adding to the feeling from the previous all-time high from the previous cycle, so according to these. Okay, let's see what else we have information-wise. So there is some company that is called SIMD G Incorporated, which is in Hong Kong, and they are collecting $55 million to buy 500 to 1,000 bitcoins. So it's like they're getting you sucked into the game. Let's add to the Bitcoin narrative. I previously translated that it's a very convenient way to accumulate new capital, propose it to let's say that we're growing, that we're expanding, that we're... As you start to buy bitcoins, it allows you to acquire financing of this type company, so you don't have to worry about it too much later. From such an offer, one can do it only, let's say, within the bounds of decency. Stop extending it in time and definitely a lot. The firm will do it in this way, using the narrative of a Bitcoin reserve that. so that they can actually acquire new capital, but in reality, the main goal will not be just this investment in Bitcoin, just some kind of repair, I would say, investments in Bitcoin. Somewhere there will be, just so that nobody accuses them of that they were simply deceiving the market. We then have, namely, a democratic one. The Japanese party is considering establishing a national having a national Bitcoin reserve, always sorts of things, always of course helps speculation. Speculate new prices, so let them talk as much as possible. On such a move, no, I would also say that it is quite unlikely, because they are extremely conservative. Despite the fact that they still use fax machines, it's not impossible, but you have to remember how what mindset prevails in Japan. Here we have Scott Bessent said he expects a replacement, while Jerome Powell was still before Grudien, meaning Jerome Powell will be replaced before Grudien. Grudien, interesting where he gets such information, because I also saw that the probability of a 100% rate cut in the United States is again on predictive market sales. The probability of an increase has risen to 95%. I don't know to what extent this is true, of course, but I saw such a post on X. Mutanir. Sitze Zaid meaning. Might the Reitman cover, might so tiny bedot admin. Was interested, he was the CEO of Boness, and said it was what happened. It was what happened. See. That too many people are betting on some small, insignificant coins that have to serve only quick profit, but there isn't enough emphasis on this. This scene, let's say, was built on luring speculators. Initially, there isn't much you can make a lot of money on quickly. If it weren't for that, the market